But the Revenue is consulting on plans that would force employers to hand over all our pay to the government. The Revenue would then deduct the tax and then pass on the balance to our bank accounts. Well, with us is Paul Lewis of Radio 4's Money Box programme. Are they serious?
I'm afraid they are, yes. Here's the paper that actually says, you know, this is improving the operation of PAYE, it's called. It's a consultation paper. The period ends on Thursday, so there's still time to comment. And I must say, talking to accountants and some politicians, they think it's a good idea. They say a lot of the mistakes that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks are actually because employers get things wrong. And if only the Revenue is in charge of all of that, then it would be okay. And it also says because information is always done, it's done once a year, so it's always out of date, but the Revenue would have what it calls real-time information. So if something changed in your circumstances, it could change your tax at once.
So you're saying, Paul, that a lot of people are saying, in principle, it's quite a sound idea. Who's saying it's not? Is there anyone saying it's not a good idea?
Well, we don't know. We'll see what happens in the consultation. Certainly some Moneybox listeners already emailed us to say, this is going to make us all work for the state. They'll be paid, and then they'll graciously give us a bit of our money back. I think really the important thing is trust, really. If they had a history of everything working well, we might say, OK, take it to the next stage. But they don't. And there was a report out this week, this is actually information from the Revenue, saying that they had failed to collect £42 billion of tax that they should have collected. It's called the tax gap between the sort of theoretical amount and what they actually take. Now, some people are saying they should be concentrating on closing that tax gap, not doing this, because this approximate system, you know, hasn't worked, and can it really get 40 million people's pay and tax right every week or every month?
I'm sure I'm not alone in being slightly concerned about all of this. And we're used to, aren't we, to get our sort of pay slip with the deductions and everything. It's all kind of clear, you know what's going on, don't you? Will that happen?
You do, and also, if anything goes wrong, you can go to your employer, and most people know the person in the employment office. But this paper says that, in fact, we won't get that anymore. What our employer will give us is a statement of your gross pay, and maybe they'll take off a union sub or a pension contribution. But for the rest of it, for our tax, we'll have to log on and look at a tax account online. And it doesn't even discuss the question of what about people who don't have a computer at home where they can easily do that. So, yes, it really would mean the end of the payslip as we know it on these plans.
I can feel kind of people's eyes rolling hearing this. I mean, so just thinking it through, that means that in big companies, for example, their accounts departments, I mean, would they have nothing to do?
Well, they'd have less to do, and this is why people are in favour of it. It would save employers money, so big tick for that. It would save Revenue and Customs money, they say, because it would all be done automatically, so big tick for that. And they say it would get it done more accurately. Well, we'll see. So all of that is in theory a good idea. But if the computer will work, if it will get those 40 million calculations right every week or every month, and of course, if you suddenly find your money hasn't arrived, what do? You can't go to your employer accounts department and say, hang on a minute, you've got to somehow get through to the Revenue, and we know, you know, 44 million calls unanswered a year or two ago.
Yeah, just really, so really quickly, that you say this till Thursday.
Yes,
where can
you can actually comment on this on the HMRC website, put in that title, or you can tell us at Moneybox what you think, bbc.co.uk/Moneybox.